Common stock. Residue owners of the firm is the last group to claim the company's assets and income, after all the creditors and preferred stockholders. Let's look at the special features of common stock. It has limited liabilities for stockholders versus sole proprietor. For stockholders, we know that it has limited liabilities, whereas for sole proprietor has unlimited liabilities. The share in wealth of the firm is dividends. So when a company create wealth, it can be shared among the shareholders in the form of dividends, or rather the firm can distribute the wealth, basically the dividends, to the shareholders. It has voting rights. Shareholders have voting rights. So basically the shareholders are the owner and they can vote on issues the company is deciding on. Common stock. Advantages for the business. So a permanent source of cash, money for the business. Okay, this basically capital come into the business. There's no maturity date, so basically the company do not need, under no obligation, legal obligation, to pay back any principal to the shareholders, because simply there's no maturity date. Not obligated to pay out dividends, so basically the company can choose not to pay out dividends in bad times. Enhance future borrowing abilities. With more capital in the company, in the business, it basically enhance the ability of the company to borrow more in the future. So more share capital basically equals to more creditworthy. Basically the company has more money and is more creditworthy to pay back any has more financial more share capital basically means more financially has more financial strength to pay off. So it's deemed more creditworthy. Let's look at the disadvantages of having more stock or shares. You dilute the earning per share because there's a limited profits, but you got to share with more people. As a result, earnings per share will be lower. There will be loss of control over the company because you allow more people come in to possess the shares. So as a result, more people is allowed to vote and you have lesser control over the company. High insurance costs. Okay, the cost of preparing prospectus, consulting fee, all this are very high. So when you issue out shares, when the company first time issue out shares, basically called IPO, it costs a lot to go through that process. Higher shareholders requires high return. So basically, being a shareholder, you're the last to claim. Okay, you bear the highest risk compared to preferred shareholders and creditors and bondholders. You bear the highest risk. Okay, so you want to have high return for the amount of risk you bear as the shareholders bear. So more expensive than banks, bonds, basically the creditors and preferred shareholders. Okay. So high risk since they're last to receive any payments, if there's any payment. Let us look at this formula. This is a Gordon's model. This is to find the value of a stock with a constant growth in dividends. So learn to apply this formula. Right, example. Lion Limited's common shares paid a dividend per share of 70 cents last year. The company is expected to maintain its dividends growth at a rate of 3% per annum indefinitely. And shares of similar risk are trading at a required return of 10%. So we have D0 equals to 70 cents, G is 3%, K is 10%. Now let's find the value of the Lions Limited common shares. So this is the formula. Substitute the figures in, and you get the value of the common shares.